This is Tim.
This is Jason.
And this is Critiquing Comics. Welcome to Critiquing Comics. This is Tim in Tokyo with Jason in Portland in a new old location. How are you doing?
Yeah. Good. I moved again. And, you know, moving is the most fun thing you can do on a weekend. I wish I could move every weekend, but, you know, we're just not allowed to have that much fun.
Yeah. Well, I just moved myself about 3 months ago. So, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay, so Jason has brought the book this time. Another one by, perhaps her name is pronounced Ghezal, Omar. So a couple years ago, we talked about her 357 magnum opus. That was Critiquing Comics number 200. So she's back with a book called Pimp Killer.
What? When you heard the title Pimp Killer, what did you think the book was about?
Killing pimps, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't set you up for an Edwardian love story.
No,
I love titles that tell you exactly what's on, like what exactly is inside. This is like the ingredients on the outside of the tin. You pick up this book, pimps are gonna die. I love that title. You know immediately if this is for you or not.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're tired of seeing pimps get murdered, skip this one.
Yeah, so, I don't know, this felt to me like kind of a fantasy book about, like, really taking it to guys who are mean to women.
Well, she draws a line in the sand, and she explains this to two different characters. She only kills pimps. And now, if you're just a jerk to a guy, if you're just a regular old girlfriend beater, she's simply going to rip your nuts off with rusty pliers and stuff you in her trunk for an afternoon.
Yeah,
that's all.
Just that. Uh-huh.
Just that, yeah.
No big deal.
So what I got from this, I was like, okay, so remembering Ghezal's last book, I was like, oh, I feel like we watched a lot of the same movies and that she was taking this B-movie route through like a Tarantino type thing. I still see the Tarantino influence, but now I get like almost like a John Wick through this like main female character named L.A. Jones.
Yeah. Also
named Jonesy. And she is on a mission to find this head pimp, this big time pimp that she's been chasing called Lucky Strikes. And there's a couple of detours along the way and an encounter with Lucky Strikes. We're not going to ruin every book. And then at the end, one of those subplots comes to a boil. What surprised me in this is that it doesn't end the way I thought it was going to end, without giving everything away. But I do think Ghezal has really staked out this space where it's like a hyper action, mirthful, like there's a joyful sexualness to this and the other book, where there's like no hand wringing over violence or sexuality. Like it's just we're living life at like the fastest we can go. We are setting the controls to the heart of the sun, and we are just, I wouldn't say hedonistic, but a bombastically entertaining lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I it's not a perfect book, but they like for why is she a pimp killer? It's never fully explained, other than the obvious social benefits of killing pimps. The obvious benefits. She seems driven by a mission, which is never clarified, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, her business card says she's a pimp killer. That's her job title. I mean, I don't think anybody's paying her to do this, as far as I can tell, but that's just her mission in life.
Yeah, and there are rules to this universe, much like there are rules to the John Wick universe, that it's slightly off of our own reality. For some reason, she can really cause a lot of damage and trouble and face no consequences for it, which is in some ways, you're right, it's like a wish fulfillment job. Like, wouldn't you love to go around and right some of the wrongs of the world?
Yeah.
But there is a hard line in the sand that she draws at one point where, like, I just kill pimps. There's a woman who wants to hire her to just like beat up a guy who's awful to his girlfriend. And she's like, I just kill pimps. She's like, you could expand your repertoire. You could expand your services. And I thought, yes, I would like to see you expand your services. You can still kill pimps, but why not fuck up other guys as well? So yeah, what did you think?
I don't know. It was okay. Not really. Didn't really speak to me necessarily. I don't know. The art was kind of distracting me because this different artist from 357 Magnum Opus. This is Ayhan Hayrula. The art feels really photo referenced and kind of stiff, so that was kind of bothering me a bit.
There are some action sequence. There's an action sequence with two guys having a shootout where I was completely lost. To your point, like there are two guys in suits with dark hair shooting at each other, and I was like, and they both die, and I couldn't tell them apart. Also, on the very first page, there is two female characters, and I honestly think the only difference between them is the skin color. So I was a little like, oh, I'm a little confused. I'm already like, these should look a little different, these two people. And it's a really simple thing. Like you could give one their hair is pulled back, or one is like a slightly different body type. But that only happened to me in those two pages. The very first page, I'm looking at page 2 where they're in a car together, and I honestly think those characters look really alike.
Yeah, they do.
But also, I didn't mind. I know what you're saying. There's like a stiffness and sometimes there's like a lack of background. But as far as I could follow the story, and I think some of the visual choices are, aside from those two that one action piece, I could follow the story. I thought it was told. Yeah. Visually as well as you're going to do a story called Pimp Killer. But there is like a wryness to this that I thought was even fresher than the 357 Magnum Opus. Like there is a woman who's like, you should expand your services. And in addition to killing pimps, you should, I love this, you should also go after Android users, mommy influencers, Joe Rogan. All them motherfuckers got to go. And I love that because I use an Android, and let me tell you, I need to be put out of my misery. And there's a fun sense of humor that I felt like it was. I think it's a better script than 357 Magnum, even though I did have a little visual confusion. I like characters that are just living a life, unabashedly living like their dream life. And that she beats men with a whip just feels like a nice touch. I think guns are overplayed in books when you can use something else to carry out your mayhem. I was thinking of No Country for Old Men, how he's got like that bolt smasher on an air tube. The thing that like punches out keys, and he uses that to kill people. I like the whip. It was unexpected. It's a fantasy about violence and sort of fixing society's ills through killing pimps.
Yeah.
And then, the girls relax after a hard day of pimp killing by taking a bath together. I go with it. It's like, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it was good for what it was. I don't know. I had some, like, minor complaints. Like, yeah, when they're taking the bath together, they're calling each other ma chérie rather than mon chérie, M-O-N. I mean, I'm not an expert on French, but I don't think that's correct. M-A chérie.
I would not have picked that up.
Also, so her name is L.A. Jones, but because the dialogue is all caps, I was thinking, am I supposed to be calling her La Jones? Because there are no dots after the L and the A. So...
Right. I think it's L.A. Jones.
Yeah, I mean, on the business card, there is upper and lower case, and so it looks like it's L.A., but yeah, I would have liked dots after the L and the A. But that's just me.
Well, to your point, I'm a stickler for this in lettering. There are uppercase I's in the middle of words. The I
with serifs?
Yeah, the serifs. The I with serifs are in the middle of words. So if you use many specific comic book fonts will fix that for you, because I'm guilty of doing the same thing. Especially if you're copying and pasting from a document that has uppercase dialogue. And looking at the end, the dialogue is not uppercase, and she has a script in the back. So I'm curious. Somehow it became.
But yeah, looking at the lettering of the comic, all of the eyes have serifs.
Yeah, I know, and that that drives me crazy. But it's we see it in every indie book, so I'm just gonna get over it. I did think all the other female characters have a different look to them, and most of the other men have a different look to them. So I kind of
that you can distinguish them from each other. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's only that first page where I felt like the model was nearly identical. So yeah, this is a violent fantasy about killing pimps. I don't think it's meant to be taken very seriously.
No.
It's got some fun to it. She's got some fun lines. There's a lesbian vampire joke that really lands well. It lands so well they tell it twice.
and then sort of make fun of the joke on top of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I see the page where you were like not sure what was going on. So is this when L.A. is tied up by the pimp and?
No, it's when she's in her hotel room and her friend gets shot at. Brett.
Oh yeah, that gunman just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, there's no background, so I don't know who's who. There's the shooter, and then there's the person being shot, and they're dressed very similarly. So that's what I mean. It's like you shouldn't have two characters in the same scene that look that much alike. Make one sort of like a chubby guy, or a short guy, or a bald guy.
Okay, I guess what I'm looking at is, well, I'm not sure what the page numbers are here. I'm looking at it in the browser, but when she's tied up and her friend comes and rescues her, and I guess somebody throws a bottle through a window, and it's I'm not sure what the right word is, like a Molotov cocktail, and it comes in the window and it sets a fire, and then. Yeah, I mean, her friend apparently is in two different places. If she threw it through the window and then she walks in the door with a gun.
Oh, right. And then what happened to the fire?
Yeah, we don't see any more fire. She shoots the henchman, and then the background is gone. And she and L.A. split. But yeah, we don't see any more fire after the bottle lands. Mm-mm. So yeah, that could have been better.
I didn't catch that. Yeah, a background would really help.
Some of the backgrounds feel kind of manga influenced. There are a couple places where it's just a lot of parallel lines, like speed lines.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's fine.
If you're not going to draw a background, then give them some energy. And then in some places, the coloring, like there's a car chase scene. Some of the coloring in the background, it's just like blurred lights, and I feel like that works well too. If you're not going to draw a city background, instead of a flat color, give us like that blurriness of car lights at night.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I was more forgiving. I know that this is a B movie comic where people do unrealistic things. They live in a world that's slightly unrealistic, and that she can go around and just like murder someone in the street and hand out business cards called Pimp Killer. The only thing I guess I would like to see and is like why is this her vocation? Like, but maybe you don't do that right away.
Yeah, we don't have any background on her really. Like what put her on this road?
She's just a fun-loving gal, likes to get down and kill pimps. Quick with a joke. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's a romp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a
capital R romp. So I think Ghezal has really staked out her territory in comics, and it is this. I sort of love how unabashedly, like, yeah, this is violent and there's a lot of sex, and we're just fucking going for it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing like, I mean, there's a guy going down on her right there.
Yeah.
Normally you'd cut away, or there would be like the next day. Nope.
Nope.
Because I was like, you know what? People like fucking. So we're going to put fucking in here. We're going to show you the whole thing. 2 pages of fucking. I was like, you know what? Bless your heart. No one else is doing that anymore. I love what a hard R it is. I don't know. It was refreshing because I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm missing these books, but Ghezal is the only person making these books, I think. Mm-hmm. These kind of books. These sort of like throwback to the 90s, like uber violent, sex driven things. You don't see sex in movies anymore. right? Because there's other places where you can get that on the internet. You don't have to put those. That's not a draw for most modern audiences anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
In the 80s, there were a lot of films that had these like gratuitous topless women scenes. And
So boys would buy the ticket to see it over and over again.
Yeah. Trading Places, Jamie Lee Curtis.
I was thinking of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, like Phoebe Cates coming out of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of those most paused movies of the 80s. The VHS would be worn there. But, I think boys have their fantasy characters, their fantasy violent characters, their John Wicks. Why shouldn't Ghezal have L.A. Jones? Cracking a whip over a guy and stabbing him.
Cutting his throat.
Yeah, and also, he's not a pimp.
Yeah,
Just
not a
girlfriend
pimp.
Beater.
Yeah,
Just a girlfriend beater.
Yeah, I think she kind of changed her mind there, I guess. I'm going to branch out beyond pimps.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What is the distinction here? But, also you can invent your own backstory with a character like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it would probably be as good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that last page. It sets me off. There's just some ridiculous lines in here that, you know what I mean? Like that last line. It's 2006. 2006 called "It Wants Its Ed Hardy Shirt Back." I don't know, man. I'm an easy lay for lines like that. The last line of the book is also like just a zinger.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's its own reality. I was on board. A few quibbles about the lettering and character aside, and Ghezal seems like they're self-producing this. Mm-hmm. So they have their own company called Artillery. I think Artillery Comics.
Okay.
Artillery Network. I'm sorry, it's Artillery
Network. Okay.
And you can go to www.pimpkiller.com if you want to get your copy and support a unique vision of pimp killing by Ghezal Omar, who does it again. I hope Ghezal just keeps making these kind of books. Right? Like there has to be an audience for this.
Oh yeah, I imagine there is.
Yeah.
She's staking out her territory.
Yeah, I mean, also that cover is great, and the logo I love that logo actually.
It is good.
I want to hire that person.
Yeah, the cover artist is the Phillip Ginn, who's also the letterer. So he needs to watch his capital I's, but yeah, the cover is good.
Yeah, that cover's excellent. So yeah, every book gets better, Ghezal. Keep them coming, and stick to your vision, because this is a Ghezal book. No one else. If you had given me the same concept, do a book called Pimp Killer, man, I would have tried so hard to make that like some sort of highbrow piece of wankery. And Ghezal's like, no, we're going to beat him with a whip and rip their nuts off with rusty pliers. Tip my hat to you.
If you've enjoyed this show or any other show in this feed, tell your friends. Share your favorite episodes on your social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube by clicking our social media buttons at deconstructingcomics.com. Our theme is from bensound.com. If you're looking for some constructive feedback on your comic, send it to us and we'll critique it here on Critiquing Comics. Send it to mail@deconstructingcomics.com. That's it for this time. Thanks for listening.